Okay, so first we will go through this uh, high level discussion, like what all things we are going to cover, and then slowly we will move for account setups. So here in this investment banking we are going to discuss customer onboarding module. So what is customer onboarding module? So when you will go for any retail website, or if you go in for any banking website, or if you go for any real estate website, so there are multiple domains. Okay, whenever you want to use their application or website, you need to register your account. Okay, so this registration process is also part of this customer onboarding module. After registration, what you do, you need to authenticate your account. So one email will go to your account, you need to click on that link, and then your account will be validated. So that is authorization of your API or verification of your API. Next, once you complete this verification, you go to portal again and you do login. So you need to provide your user ID and password. So there you means we will develop our login API. So login API will take care of that. Same way for registration, we will have registration API. For account verification, we have verification API. So for all this functionality, step by step, we will develop different API. Then once you will do login, after login, it may happen you want to reset your credential. So for that, we will have reset credential API. Or before login, if you forgot your credential, then we will have forgot credential API. So that API will help customer to like reset their user ID and password. Okay, then as a customer you want to update your details, so there will be update API that will help to customer update their accounts detail. Okay, then we will have view customer detail API. So using that API, customer will able to view their details on web portal. So for this customer onboarding process, whatever API we need, we will develop all those API and we will discuss all those API. So whatever functionality you can see here, login, registration, forgot credential, reset credential, view customer account, view profile, update profile, verify profile. So for all this functionality, we are going to develop API. Okay, and this particular project will be suitable for multiple clients, multiple domain, I can say. So what all domain will be suitable for this particular project? First will be banking, then we will have this retail domain, e-commerce domain, insurance domain, then real estate domain. Everywhere, like as a customer, you can go to their website or you can go to their mobile app, you need to register. Okay, hope everyone clear till this point. So here we have a document. This is not like this document we generally term is as functional design document, but this means we will have similar kind of document for functional design document, but this is our high level discussion document. Okay, so like you need to provide your detail, whoever will create, so they need to provide their detail. So first, like whenever there will be initial draft, so like who will create this document, they need to put their name, then initial draft, then version, and then date. If we need any review or if we need any change, then again we need to put our details. So in future, if anyone will go through this document, they will come to know, okay, at this time this particular user made this change or who created this document. So all those details we should capture here. Same pattern we follow in functional design document also. Okay, next we have course content. So what all things we are going to cover here? So first we will start from requirement gathering, then we will discuss about project life cycle. So in project life cycle, we will be more focused on agile methodology. Previously, like most of the project we are using waterfall model, but now I think I'm not 100% correct, but as per my understanding, whatever I can see in market, 90% client or company uses this agile methodology. In 10% clients still they are using this waterfall model, or many clients they are using mixed waterfall model. It means they included agile also there. Okay, but we will be more focused on agile methodology. So I will explain everything: what is sprint, what is who is scrum master, what is story point, what is your times, how you can log your time, how you can comment, how you can create Jira stories. All those discussion we will do. Okay, now if you are following this agile methodology, then you will be very much dependent on some ticketing tool. It can be Azure ticketing tool, or it can be Jira. Then we have ServiceNow. So there are multiple ticketing tools are there. Whenever we follow this agile methodology, we must go through some ticketing tool. So Jira is one of them. So we will discuss here Jira ticketing tool here. Okay, so everything we'll see, like how to create account and how to manage this Jira account, Jira issue and all. Everything we'll see. Then next, Confluence. So Confluence is it's a kind of central repository where you can maintain your documents. Okay, so in a organization, you will have thousands of document. Okay, so and that document should be shared with within organization. There will be multiple employee working in same project. So whatever document I created should be accessible to my colleagues, and whatever he has created should be accessible to me. So we need one central repository for documents where we can easily manage document, we can create document, and yeah, so we can manage or we can create document. So Confluence, Jira, these two are Atlassian product, and Confluence we use to maintain our and manage our document. Okay, so here also we will see how we will manage our Confluence account. Okay, so whenever you will create your Atlassian account, it will ask about what all products you are going to use. So we will select Jira and Confluence. Okay, next, Git. So till this point we have discussed about Confluence. So Confluence is a repository where we manage or maintain our documents, but it's there we can't maintain or manage our code. Okay, so for Git, for code, whatever API you will develop, so to manage or maintain your source code, we need again one central repository, and that is Git repository. This repository will change from organization to organization or client to client. Okay, so many places you will see Jira, many places you will see not Jira, many places you will see Git, many places you will see Bitbucket, many places you will see Azure repository. Okay, it depends on company to company and client to client. So what kind of product and what kind of product they are using previously, so they will continue that product, or if you if they are completely new, that project is completely new, then they will see which one is cheaper, which one provide more flexibility, which one provide more features. Based on that they will take decision. So in market we have multiple options, as I mentioned, Git, then Azure repository, then we have Bitbucket. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone using any other repository, since we have many people here, they are using different they are working in different project and different company. But my understanding, I know these three repository. Okay, next we have Jenkins pipeline. So here we will understand CI/CD part, using Jenkins, how we can create script, and that script will help us to automate our deployment process. So once you will develop your code, you will commit your code on repository, then this CI/CD pipeline will come in picture. What it will do, it will take code from your repository and it will deploy on server. Now server can be cloud up. Server means where you are deploying your mule application. So in market, like in MuleSoft provide 4 kind of deployment model. One is Cloud Hub, another one is on-premise, another one is RTF, and then we have hybrid. So all this deployment model discussion we will do in detail later on. Okay. So here I am just giving basic of everything, and then we will take one component and we will do detailed discussion. Okay. So as I mentioned, like Jenkins pipeline we will use for CI/CD purpose, for continuous integration, continuous deployment purpose. And what it will do, it will take code from repository and it will deploy on server. Okay, so next we have RAML. So till this point, like whatever tools we need to capture our requirement and all, we have all these tools. Okay, then based on our like whatever requirement gathering we will do, based on that we will create RAML and we will follow all the best practice. So RAML, I think everyone know, it's a RESTful API modeling language. So similar to like for example, whenever you want to create your home, so you need one map of your home. Okay, and then you will go to municipality and then you will take approval from there, and then only you can construct your home. So what exactly you are doing in that map, you are creating a skeleton of your home. Like my home will be within this area, we will have this parking area, we will have this free area, we will have 2 floor or 3 floor, here we will have window, here we will have door. Okay, all those design you create there, and based on some rule regulation, municipality like officer will check, and if it is if everything will be correct there, then they will approve and then you can construct your home. Same way, whenever you go for API development, so before developing your actual API, means before implementing your API, you need to create one skeleton. So that is our RAML. So RAML is not actual implementation of our API, it's just a skeleton. So RAML will describe behavior of your API. So what kind of request it will support, what kind of response it will send, what will be underlying data type, what will be resource name for that particular API. So how this map, how we created map for home, same way we create RAML for our API. Okay, so map tells about complete structure of our home, from where you can in, from where you can out, from where you can see your window, what will be your will be your parking area. So that particular map tells behavior of our home. Same way RAML tells behavior of our API. Okay, next after RAML we will publish that RAML on Exchange. So how we go for verification of our map to municipality, same way once we will publish on our RAML on Exchange, we will have BA people. So from where we are getting requirement, that is BA people, or you can say stakeholder. So they will validate your RAML. Same way how municipality officer will validate your map, same way BA people or this stakeholder will validate your RAML. If it will fit their all requirement, they will give you feedback. It can be positive or negative. If something is not as per their expectation, they will give you negative feedback. If everything will be there on their expectation, then they will give you positive feedback. And based on feedback, either you will go for implementation or you will go for same cycle again. Means you need to update your RAML again, you need to publish on Exchange, and then again you need to ask BA people or stakeholder to validate. Okay, so once we will complete this RAML development, we will go for actual implementation of our API. So here we will use Anypoint Studio software. For RAML development we will use Anypoint platform. For API development we will use Anypoint Studio. Once we will complete development, we will follow all the best practice. Here also we will follow all the best practice. I will show you like what all best practice you should follow. So your API will be very easy to understand. If you will not follow best practice, that doesn't means your API will not work. That API will work, but maintenance work of that API will be very difficult. For example, you left that company. After you, someone else joined that company. For him, it will be very difficult to understand what you develop. If you will follow some structure, some pattern, or some best practice of API development, then no matter who will join after you, so they will able to understand your API very easily. And slowly okay, so if you don't want to if you want to create your dependency, then you can skip this part. But again, it will be overhead for you only. Slowly your team size will increase, and then you means always sometime it's good if you create dependency, but sometime it's create problem also. Okay, whenever something will come, everything will be dependent on you, and you will not able to breathe properly. So I will say follow all the best practice. So whoever will go through that project, no matter who developed that API, if someone else will go through that API, for them it will be very easy to understand if we will follow some best pattern of our API development. Okay, next, testing. So in testing, we will do different kind of testing. First we will do local testing, or you can say unit testing. Unit testing means you are testing your own API. Okay, so once you will complete this unit testing, we need to do integration testing. So in integration testing, what will come? For example, you develop system API, someone else develop process API. So process API will call system API. So these two API are dependent. So these two API need to test together. So this is integration testing. Unit testing means you develop your system API, you tested everything working fine or not. Who develop process API, he will test their process API, everything working fine or not. But if you will merge, if you will combinedly test those two API, then that will be integration testing. So first we will see unit testing, then integration testing. After that we will see MUnit testing. So in MUnit testing, it's similar to JUnit testing, where JUnit testing we write for Java, MUnit testing we write for MuleSoft. So here we automate our testing process. So it will tell you about your coverage, code coverage, and it will automate your testing process. Okay. So till last batch, actually my system had some problem, so I was unable to cover this MUnit testing, but for this batch I took another laptop. So from next day onward I will connect through that laptop only, and I will do everything there only. So this for this batch I will cover this MUnit testing. For other batch also, I have planned to create recorded video and I will provide them. Okay, next, performance testing. So here, with the help of, okay, so first let me tell what is performance testing. So once you develop your API, if you will not follow the best component, like in MuleSoft we have batch processing also, we have for each also, or we have parallel for each also. If you are getting 1000 of record, if you will use this for each, then each record will be processed at a time. Sorry, each record will be processed one by one. For example, one record processing take 100 millisecond, and we have 1000 record. So 1000 into 100, it will be around 100 second total. So if your API will take 100 second to response, then definitely your customer will stop using that app. Okay, nowadays everyone expecting whenever they will click on app, they should get response. Okay, so what you can do in that case, you can do parallel processing. So either you can use parallel for each, or you can use batch processing. Okay, then what will happen, you can process 100 record at a time. So 100 record means total we have 1000. So 1000 divided by 100 means we need 10 time to process all the record, and each processing take 100 millisecond. 100 into 10 means 1000 millisecond. That will be equivalent of 1 second. So same thing previously we were doing in 100 second, Now with the help of parallel for each or batch processing, we can do in 1 second. So in this way, like your API performance will vary. So when whatever component you are taking while designing your API or while developing your API, you should select best component. Okay, MuleSoft will provide you multiple component, you should select best component. In worst case, if MuleSoft component is not available for that particular functionality, you can write your own Java code. Okay, so here, like very rarely, I will say from last 2 to 3 years, I think 2 to 3 API I used Java code. Okay, so Java code will not come very frequently, but sometime it may come. So let me tell you in which scenario I used Java code, so you will get idea like you should learn a basic of Java or not, or how you will manage those scenario. So first thing, like when I was connecting with Azure Blob Storage, okay, at that time I faced some challenge. Whatever connector I was using, that connector was not capable to do something what I was looking for. So what I did, instead of using that connector, I used their REST API. But to use their REST API, we need one SaaS token, and to generate that SaaS token in MuleSoft was very complex. So what I did, they already provided algorithm, so I used Java code to create that SaaS token, and using that token and using their REST API, I can call Blob Storage or Azure Data Lake. So in that case I used, that is one scenario. Another scenario I used, so whenever you write any file on target system, so in file connector, FTP connector, SFTP connector, whenever you will write your file, it will write in .txt, .json, .csv format. It will not zip your file. If you want to zip your file, then you need to handle it manually. Manually means like either you need to go on that folder, or you need to make a zip, or you need to write some another script to make it zip, or another option you have, you can write your Java code in your Mule application. After writing file, you will go to that location again with the help of Java code, and you will select that file and you can make it zip. Okay, so in that scenario I used Java code. So very rarely you will get, but you will get Java code. Okay, so now let's back to performance testing. So for performance testing, as I mentioned, whatever component you are selecting, you should be aware of what component you are using. So you should like focus, your API performance should be good, and in general scenario, like there will be expectation your API should return within 2 to 3 seconds. In most of the project, it will be general expectation your API should respond within 3 seconds. If your API is taking more than 3 seconds, then definitely you are going to be in trouble. Okay, so whenever you develop your API, you can do a set of performance testing, and for performance testing we will use here JMeter. So I will not test all the API, but for one API I will show you how JMeter works and how we can do performance testing. Okay, in future there will be definitely testing team, they will do performance testing and all, but as a API developer you should also have idea of that JMeter tool. So before going to this SIT and UAT, you can test your API and you can see everything well and good or not. Okay, if you will not test at the initial phase, or if you will not identify at the initial stage, then once your code will be like very near to production deployment, at that time you will come to know, okay, your API performance is not good. At that time changing code is very risky. You completed all the phase of testing like UAT, integration, SIT, then UAT testing. You completed all the phase of testing, and at the end you came to know, okay, my API performance is not good, I need to completely change structure of my API. So at that time it will be very risky. So at the initial stage only you should keep testing your API using this JMeter tool, so you will be always in safe end. Okay, so next, code check-in in CI/CD. So after we will complete all this development and local testing, we will do code check-in, and where we will do inside Git, then CI/CD. So it will take code from that Git and it will deploy on server. Then discussion about deployment model. So here we will discuss about different deployment model like on-premise, Cloud Hub, RTF, and hybrid. We are going to work on on-premise, Cloud Hub deployment model, but I will give you basic of all these deployment models, so at least you should know what is what all possible deployment model we have. Okay, here I think few people are, okay, first of all, like here few people are very beginner. So if you are thinking like I am taking very fast, so here we are just doing high level discussion for each component. Whatever you can see, whatever point you can see, for each point we will take 1 day. Okay, 3 hours will be there, but here I'm just going through what all things we are going to cover, so I'm taking a bit faster, means I'm just giving high level of that particular things. But later on, for example, this particular thing, discussion about deployment model, for Cloud Hub deployment or model itself, we will take 1 day, means 3 hours we will take. Okay, so don't worry about this, just understand what all things we are going to cover. So we will discuss about all this deployment model, like we will see which deployment model has advantage on which business model, and which deployment model has advantage for which business user. Okay, so all those discussion we will do, but we will be more focused on Cloud Hub. In Cloud Hub we will see everything, how to deploy our code, how to manage our code, we will see how to apply policy, everything we'll see in Cloud Hub. Okay, next, environment. So whenever you will join any project, so most of the client uses this many of environment. So whenever you will develop your code will go to dev environment. Then next, once you will complete your testing, unit testing and integration testing, it will move to SIT environment, and generally on SIT environment, testing team do testing. Okay, in few cases, like out of 10, one project, MuleSoft developer only do SIT testing also. Okay, but 90% cases there will be testing team and they will do SIT testing. Once SIT testing will be done by testing team, your code will move to UAT. Here your user, like from where you are getting requirement, they will test your API and they will see your API fulfill that business functionality or not, whatever they are expecting. So this testing will be done by business user with the help of testing team. And then once all this testing means we will complete testing of this dev, SIT and UAT environment, then your code will move to pre-prod. So generally on pre-prod environment we do different kind of testing, like load testing, performance testing, sanity testing. So different kind of testing we do here. And who will do? Again, testing team will do that kind of testing, load testing, performance testing and sanity testing. So as I mentioned, load testing means your API can handle how many requests that will come inside load testing. Performance testing means your API taking how much time to respond, and sanity testing means your API is secure or not. They will check different kind of scenario. For example, they will pass incorrect credential, then what will be behavior of your API? So they will try to pass some dummy data to hack your API. Means they will do different kind of testing. So they will see your API should not be easily hackable, or it like someone can't misuse your someone cannot misuse of your API. So that kind of testing team will do. Once all the testing will be done, your code will move to production, where that is your actual environment. Okay, once your project will be go live, your code will move to production environment, and then your end user who are using their application, they will call API from production environment. Okay, so this is like number of environment every project use, not every project, 90% project use, every environment needs some costing. For example, production environment need one costing, UAT, SIT need also costing. So maintaining every environment needs some cost. Okay. So many client, if they don't have too much budget, they will maintain only dev, SIT, production. Some client will maintain dev, SIT, UAT and production. Some client will maintain dev, production only. So it depends on client to client. Okay, you can't say every client will follow all this environment. Since to maintain this environment they need some cost, to create this environment they need some cost. For example, you have your 100 API and that need 3 vcode. If you will take license of 3 vcode, you will get 6 vcode as a non-production. Using 6 vcode you can create only dev, SIT. You don't have environment for UAT and pre-prod. So if you want UAT and pre-prod environment, again you need to give some amount to MuleSoft and they will give you some extra non-pre-prod environment. Okay, then again you need to pay some amount. First thing. Second thing, you or like DevOps team or maybe MuleSoft admin team, there should be someone who will manage this environment. They need to create environment, they need to apply all the policy and all, they need to manage this environment. So you need some like resource cost also to manage this environment. So that's why it depends on your project budget, it depends on client, how many environment they want to maintain. Okay, so I have worked on multiple projects. For few project, not few project, for most of the project I had all this environment, but I have worked on few projects where I had dev, SIT and prod only. We don't had pre-prod and UAT. Okay, as I mentioned, we will be more focused on Cloud Hub. So on Cloud Hub deployment model, we will see what is API manager, what is runtime manager, what is designer. So everything we will see here. Okay, so we will discuss, like we will have 1-day session on this. Then environment promotion. So once you will complete everything on dev, so first time if you want to move your code from dev to SIT, first time I am talking, so we have one shortcut which will make your task very easy. So that process is known as environment promotion. So we can promote our dev to SIT, SIT to UAT. I am talking about first time. So first time if you want to create new environment, it will take lots of effort. But if you will select this environment promotion option, it will take like only 10 to 15 minutes. Your task will be very easy. So we will not see for all environment. I will maintain only 2 environment, dev and production. So we will see for dev to production how we can promote our environment from dev to production. Again, for us also, like we have only 1 vcode. Our license means as a free trial account we will get only 1 vcode. So we also have limitation of resource, so we can't maintain all this environment. So we will maintain only dev and production, and I will show how we can promote dev to production. Then once our environment will be ready, then we will apply policy, we will deploy our code, and then at the end of this session we will discuss like how you will explain this project in your interview. Okay, many people, I think few people here, they are looking for one real-time project so they can clear MuleSoft interview. So for them I will explain how you will explain this project, what all cross question they will ask, and how you will manage those cross questions. Okay, so here till this point we will cover everything from scratch to end, and here we will summarize all those things. Okay, so now like I will give 5 minutes to ask your doubts.